February air, a winter's hush, a different kind of love, a sacred rush. For the roses is all the fleeting glance, before the scales and a fighting chance. We're the phoenix nesters watching from the wire, seeing shadows fall, fueling the fire. Every story buried, every silent tear. Here comes a promise whispered, conquering the fear. Oh, Lady Justice, can you feel the shift arise? A love for the truth deflected in our eyes. We're turning the pages, breaking all the locks. This is our true crime, resetting all the clocks. They sold you a story, a neatly packaged lie, but the threads are unraveling under a watchful sky. From the cold case files to the digital trace, we're finding a heartbeat in this forgotten space. Oh, Lady Taro space, can you feel the shift arise? A love for the truth deflected in our eyes. Returning the pages, breaking all the locks. This is a true crime, resetting all the clocks. From the ashes of silence, a new day is born. For every lost soul, a promise is sworn. The blindfold is lifted, steady and slow. A garden of justice is starting to grow. Shift to arise, pure justice. Lady Justice.
Brian has been essentially convicted in the media. He has a right to have this information withheld, brought out in public, so that people can see it's not this neat little package. So people can start to wonder if Brian's innocent. Your Honor, Brian is innocent. So if I talk about things that are in the affidavit, and if I talk about things that we're seeking that the state wants to hide, I think that's fair game for the public to hear.
Well, hello everyone and good evening. I am so thrilled to be here with you guys today. Now, I know this is Valentine's Day weekend and a lot of people are celebrating tonight. And if you are, happy Valentine's Day. I can't believe this is already February 13th today, 2026. I'm your host, Phoenix. Welcome to Phoenix Talks. Here we have open minds. Every angle matters. Every question matters. And if you've never been to my stream and you are trolling, keep on scrolling, you guys, because here our community comes here and we show up for one reason, and that is to find the truth. It's very difficult in this day and age to find the truth. You know, we challenge the narratives, we demand clarity, and we never stop asking questions. And if that is you and you're asking the same thing, welcome home, every single one of you. Today, I will be talking about the IDAHO4, where no one's talking about this knife, folks. I made a post. A lot of people had no idea. There was more than one knife found in evidence, guys. There was a Kershaw knife, a knife sheath, and a steak knife, but no one is talking about this knife. And before I welcome you all in, I just want to give you a really quick video update that blew my mind today that was announced late last night. Let's watch it together. You can't make this up, folks. The FBI has reportedly called on an investigator who helped put quadruple murderer Brian Koberger behind bars as they frantically search for Savannah Guthrie's missing mom, Nancy Guthrie. It's almost been 2 weeks. So on Thursday, yesterday, Fox News reporter Michael Ruiz revealed they had a good clue about what may have gone down at Nancy's house the night of the disappearance. So Jim Clementine, who has worked as a profile for the FBI, he has an IMDb right here. He's a retired FBI supervisory special agent profiler and a former New York City prosecutor. He had a 22-year career with the FBI, and he's investigated all kinds of cases from bank robberies to serial killers. So he is now assisting in the Nancy Guthrie case out of Tucson. What are your thoughts about this case? Drop them below. You know the drill. Be well.
Just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt, because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help.
They need our help. They have the world's best investigators in the world on this case, and they need the public's help. Make this make sense. Are we really living in the day and age where they're using our minds, our visions, our logic capabilities to put into a program, folks? You know, in most of my videos, I do type a certain description, and it says, you decide where the truth ends and the programming begins. And I usually talk about how the IDAHO4 case shook the nation. Beneath the tragedy, questions still burn about the truth, technology, and control. Are we looking at another situation? Are we looking at Arizona like Idaho was tested? Sure feels like that. Is it a cover-up, a psyop? And you know, when you see Nancy Guthrie out there, she is in fact working with the feds in a missing persons case. And they work with the family members. They work with the family members to send certain messages out there to, and you know, get the public interested. But let's do this. Let me welcome every single one of you in. Dina, no talkie before coffee. Good to see ya. Becca, Les, thanks for being here, Les. Donna Rosa, Becca, beautifully broken woman. I hear you. Hey, guys. Lulu Bell, howdy, Phoenix and Nesters. Yes, we do have the trendiest mods in the world. They are amazing to work with, and I appreciate every single one of them. Rebecca, welcome in. Brenda, welcome in. Stephanie, good to see ya. Stefan, sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to call you a woman's name. I do apologize. Oh, that's my bad. Caleb, good to see you, honey. Cat's girl, I see you. And I see everybody else lurking. Like I said, if you are scrolling to troll, keep on scrolling. So, you know, it's interesting. You always see some of these comments, which I'm going to put on the screen. Has anyone heard about the stalking of BK for his cloud forensic in his Bitcom? You know, we have heard about there was no stalking, no motive, no evidence, no DNA, no nothing at the crime scene, his apartment, his office space at the university, nothing. Now, what I will say is this was one of the very first cases that I have ever seen forensics for Bitcoin. And they had to have known that he had Bitcoin. Were they trying to attach it to certain people? What were they looking for? And I still question that one. Totally question that one. Happy Valentine's Day to you and your fur babies. Too sweet. What are your thoughts on why they took Nancy? Who knows? I mean, maybe somebody found out who she was, and who knows? Maybe it's an operation to take some bad criminals off the street in Tucson, like I said the other day. Do we really know? I mean, look at the news out of Tucson right now. All the criminal people that they have arrested with drugs and, oh yeah, I can say that here. Fentanyl. I mean, go and look at the reports. Go and look at your simple reports. They are arresting criminals left and right. They even arrested somebody that thought that they were involved in this crime. And this guy is a U.S. citizen, didn't ask him any questions, gave him his car back, released him. I mean, that's unlawful detainer if I've ever seen it. But what do I know? I'm no expert. I'm no expert at anything. I just have some experience. But I will tell you, now SWAT's coming in. I don't know what's going on. I mean, just people are being arrested left and right over there in Tucson. I mean, you can go to the Daily Star, you can go look. I mean, guys, it's crazy. I mean, there's arrests all the time in Phoenix too. I mean, I was downtown last night and that freaking traffic was horrible. Absolutely horrible. People, partying and on the streets, and there's so much downtown going on all the time, concerts and events. But the bars are packed on Thursday nights, and it is just wild out there. So I'm so tired of the emotional roller coasters. Why don't they even tell us the truth? And honestly, I don't care anymore. I hear you. I think we're all like at the end of our ropes. I don't even know if that audio, Pike, is truthful. We don't know if that audio is truthful because remember, Moscow Police Department released from, I think, midnight to 2:30 something, and it was all silent. Silent. Hunter checking the house with a knife. Yeah, we've heard that. He went right through it. I mean, why is no one talking about this knife? Which knife? There were two knives in evidence. None were ever tested. And here's the reason I bring up this whole knife thing. Good to see you, Tina. I hope everyone's having a good day too. And yes, I have a sweetheart. And yes, we have plans. I can't wait. Can't wait. Guthrie thing is getting crazy. Seems like a distraction. I agree. And if you didn't see my post, holy freaking moly. I mean, what else are we going to have? Wow. I don't know if you guys saw my post. I said, so now we have the news media right at the front door, right? They were right at the front door. There's blood there. And then we see pizza guy knocks at the door. Pizza. He goes to deliver. Possibly leaves DNA. Then the Amazon comes and delivers a package. Possibly leave some trace DNA, all at a crime scene. What are we watching? The repeat of IDAHO4 contaminating the crime scene? First they have a mask guy. Now they found a glove. I made this post, 15 hours ago, just 7 hours ago, they have a glove. These are rookie mistakes, possibly two masked people on the porch that I saw. And I said more to come on this because I really think somebody was standing in this corner of the house in this little alcove, and it looked like the one perp was talking to someone that maybe had a flashlight on them. So this crime was at 2 a.m. ish. Already somebody was detained and not the perp released. Crypto involved. What else? What else do you think that they are going to have in this crime? AI building patterns. That was what somebody put. Pizza delivering. Yeah, they hired a security company to watch the house. I mean, if you look at the front porch and you look at that camera once again, look at the video they released. It is so weird. I couldn't imagine being detained and asked questions, but they said he never was asked a question. Wow. Recently the FBI purged all the veteran agents. That's true. But you know what they also did too? They partnered with ICE, and ICE hired so many veteran agents, retired people in law enforcement. They hired cops, they hired military. They did a lot of this stuff, and that's what's going on right now with ICE. So, in my humble opinion, They got me with Charlie Kirk. I was devastated, and look at us now. Absolutely. If you just came in here, there's 102 of you. Hit the thumbs up, please. Thank you for remembering. Thank you. Thank you. And that's kind of like, I guess, as you know, where are you guys at? One, you're tired of these psychological crap, or two, you're in it for the long haul. Which one? Dina says just more effery. I believe predictive policing and Bitcoin. They want Bitcoin. They want to be able to unmask secret dealings, I believe. Too many weird cases. It is, I believe it's a distraction. It looks like a bad movie with bad actors. Speaking of movies and speaking of knives, you know, I was just looking at some things and I thought, I have got to share this. I got to share this. I think a lot of people don't realize when we talk about things like this, it really gets us to share a little more. We come as a group of people that think along the same lines. And when I saw this, and I'm sure you guys have always maybe known some of this about what I'm going to share. I don't know. But I want to share it because I went down this rabbit hole. Just because someone says something doesn't mean it's true. I always go and I try to find, you know, the truth to the matter. And that's what I want to get at. I want to find out what is truthful, what can we benchmark, and what can we find out for sure. And I made a video. Let me see if I put it up here on the Tickety Talk. That one went crazy busy. Let's see if it uploaded yet. Yeah, okay. So the other night, a streamer, a creator, asked, where did this picture come from in ISP 104? Well, these are from the picture, the batch 4, that were removed, okay? Removed from the ISP website. So let's listen to the video because I wanted to correct myself. I made a mistake. I was in the right room. I was just in the wrong spot. Someone asked the question the other day, where was this picture taken? Because it didn't look like any of the bedrooms in regards to the Idaho 4 case. And as I went through each bedroom, I took screenshots of each bed so that I could narrow down exactly where this picture was. And in fact, indeed, it was in the house on the second floor bedroom. And you can see the progression and the lineup of all these pictures. So there was a rolling cart in Kaylee's room, but that was not the cart. There was actually one inside Xana's room next to her desk. And that is the picture and the angle that they took this from. It was, in fact, not a bed frame. It was her desk and her other personal items in her rolling cart. I do hope this helps explain where I saw and where that picture belonged in the Idaho 4. You know the drill, be well. So there you have it. It was underneath this desk at a different angle, and that was actually the rolling cart that they did take that picture at a different angle. So put that one to rest. It was actually inside the crime scene. I think some people had a question if that was part of the crime scene at all. So I am so glad that every single one of you are here because I have got some crazy stuff going on in regards to the Idaho 4. And we should be talking about these knives. These knives were, okay, we always heard about the knife sheath. The knife sheath was tested, Brian Koberger's DNA on the button snap, which we find out that it was never even swabbed. And it's not his DNA. So whose DNA is it? We don't know. Have they just lost that report? Is that number 42 that they're just not sharing with us? Is that part of this whole secretive elite cover up? Don't know. We can only suspect. But let me ask you, do you think that they tested the Kershaw knife that was taken into evidence, item 61? Do you think they tested item 16, the steak knife that was said to be number 1 in the file that I shared earlier today on the YouTube? Do you think that they tested those? Drop a 1 if you think they tested them. This is what I shared over on YT. This was the simplest sketch that was in these ISP4 drop that have been erased since, scrubbed from the internet forever. Now, it does say number 1, and there is a blank next to number 1. I suppose the number 1 victim was erased because it looks like in this writing, they've erased it. And then they put number 2 female, 3 male. And number 1 is just missing. Is that victim number 1 that's missing on all the reports that I've showed you before? Because they did put the knife on the little table in the diagram, which is sketch and sus and everything else of that nature. So obviously, the knife was found 6 to 10 inches from the starting line, which is on the diagram, which means that that little knife was found on the table in the main room. So that's the marking where the object was, number 1 object. But number 1 victim was erased. Number 2 female, number 3 male. This case just does not make sense. And yes, all the Halloween videos were kind of shady, which brings me to my next point. I went down rabbit holes to see if there was anything in relation to Halloween and these simple antics that these kids were doing at Halloween and all their gory, bloody, bizarre Halloween pictures. Yes, folks, I did. And since it's Friday the 13th, we're going to talk about it. I want you to watch this clip with me. Because I was curious, what kind of knife did they show in this movie?
This is probably
That is a tiny knife.
not. I mean, you wouldn't want to be stabbed with it,
I wouldn't want to be stabbed by any knife.
right? But I don't think that's. I think there's a reason why the knife that we're talking about today is the knife we're talking about today, not this one.
Yeah. So, what's up, guys? Welcome in. Today we have a really fun video for you guys. You know, kind of 'tis the season if you like scary movies. But today we are talking about and kicking off a new series about movie knives.
Yes.
And the movie knife that we are talking about is the venerable
Buck 120.
from Scream.
There you go. As you can see in our cold opener, the a little EDC, for those who haven't seen it, our little EDC fixed blade here probably wouldn't fill the bill for Hollywood.
See that
And
little tiny
tick.
fixed blade knife, you guys? I don't watch scary movies either, but I went and I wanted to see what kind of knives was in Scream scary movies. That little tiny fixed blade that this guy has right here on the left in the blue shirt, that is a tiny, tiny fixed blade knife that actually can cause a lot of
the
damage.
venerable Buck 120. I think it's fascinating that they chose a buck knife, because that is not only is the Buck 110 the standard by which all folding knives are measured, the Buck 120 is
Folding knives or fixed blade knives?
the 110, the little,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So like the 110 is we kind of accept that, but you know, as a standard fixed blade hunting knife, the 120 is the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah, and it's so American.
So American. It's so appropriate that it was used in that kind of a movie. It's aggressive looking. It's large.
This is a SE3 for size comparison.
Yep.
It's a massive knife,
it
which
is.
I guess is why they used it for a scary movie.
I used to think it was this. I used to think it was the 119, but the 119 isn't quite big enough.
No, it's not menacing.
You know what I mean? And look at the difference just in the. I know these camera shots. We may be doing B-roll.
Yeah, no, we will. Yeah, we'll roll all that.
It's just the size difference. You just feel.
Okay, so these two are going through and they're showing you all kinds of different knives. The reason I wanted to show you that was for the simple fact, this guy, you can go watch them, Nashville North RC. Thank you. This was made over 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I suppose. And they go through and they show you these knives. So now we have an idea of the knives. Why is no one talking about these knives? A steak knife, would that cause that kind of damage? Probably not. But we've never seen this Kershaw knife, item 61. And this is when Phoenix Fireball comes in. This is when we all start questioning, what about this other evidence? What about this other Kershaw knife? How big was this knife? Where was this knife found? And I've shown you, and we've done some lives in regards to the Kershaw knife. They're not some little knives. But this is something I want to touch on today as we're here and we go through what I have, in fact, researched, which blows my mind. Have you guys ever researched about knives and how much damage they can cause the human body? Well, I know you probably didn't, but I did. And this is what we're going to talk about today. And then maybe the conversation will begin on the autopsy of Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan. Now, why did they? Yes, there are 2 knives in evidence. And 1 knife sheath. Okay, guys, this is going to grab you. This is commentary with education. We're not making hypothetical things here. This is something that we're looking at. Okay. Now, we've all heard about the K-bar this, the K-bar that. Were there any movies where K-bars were used in the movies? Absolutely. Right? I mean, I had to go and research this. There are movies that go all the way back to 1952 in regards to movies that have used K-bar knives. But I never heard of the K-bar knife until my uncle, who's a Marine, actually has a standard issued retired K-bar knife. And then K-bar, you never hear about him. They are actually, at one time, they gave these to U.S. Rangers, especially paratroopers. Now, when you start looking at the history of movies with knives and K-bars, The Hunted, Tour of Duty, there's a game. There's also some other videos from the 1989 movies, all the way back to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He's got a K-bar in his hand. And then you start looking at all these other movies. Heaven Knows Mr. Allison, Flags of Our Fathers. Again, you see the Marines with K-bars. Then Beachhead from 1954, and obviously Missing in Action, which he has a K-bar on him. Great movie. And then Platoon and some other movies. So you kind of get the idea. Full Metal Jacket was in there. You kind of get the idea that K-bars were typically given to U.S. forces in certain military roles. It's not something that you just go and buy, and well, you can nowadays, but not back in the days. So I started looking at these knives and I kept thinking, well, what damage could a tiny fixed blade knife do? And you would be surprised. We're going to look at Kaylee's autopsy first, because not only did they say she had 24 stabs, 11 in the chest, 3 in the upper extremities, and a bunch of other injuries that were not related to knives, folks. Let me tell you what the difference is between an incised wound and a laceration. Who wants to take a guess what a laceration is versus a incised wound or a cut? Okay? A cut is a type of wound with a clean, sharp edges caused by a knife, glass, or scissors. It's very simple. The severity can be mild to depending on the depth of the wound. Superficial cuts, deep cuts, puncture wounds, something totally different. A laceration is a type of wound with ragged, irregular edges caused by friction or abrasion due to a fall or an impact. Exactly, Anonymous. And this is key to describing these victims' injuries that I bet nobody has told you, but I will. Okay? A laceration means it's a tear, a split, or a stretch. That's what a laceration is. Okay? So when you look at knives and you look at the actual autopsies, it tells you one of two things. Kaylee's injuries, and it doesn't say like it does in Xana's or Maddie's. It doesn't say the same exact thing. So Kaylee's, obviously, I'm just going to paraphrase this real quick, per an expert that I listened to earlier today. Kaylee had many knife wounds on her head, face, and neck, more than 24. There were also knife wounds on her chest and 3 on a few of her arms. Okay? Those were cuts. They don't say how deep those cuts were because they never tell us what the knife was. And that is an indication of the cluckery, I can say cluckery, that goes on in this case. It's wild. Then it explains more injuries. Now, this knife was deep enough in some places to damage her skull, yes. But there were injuries inside the mouth, the teeth, the tongue, and important blood vessels near the chest. Those were cut. There was a lot of bleeding inside. And that's why a lot of people in the crime say, they look at the crime scene pictures and they say, holy moly, there's not a lot of blood in these crime scenes. I've seen gory, bleeding crime scenes, and this is nothing. But the other injuries listed for Kaylee was a cut on the scalp, bleeding around the brain, a broken nose, bruising around the eyes, and scraped and bruises on her face. Obviously, the blood alcohol was not too bad. I mean, she'd been drinking. We know that. But here's the deal. The heavy focus to the head and neck. And then obviously there's pattern bruises that G talked about. And when you think about this, it actually looks like someone compressed maybe their knee on her face. Well, this was happening. Maybe one or more. I'm just speculating. And when you look at those, obviously she had vascular injuries and the chest cavity hemorrhage, which was major blood loss internally. And she only had injuries to her upper torso. That's a noticeable pattern. There's a pattern. All this was very close, a chaotic struggle with all the contact to her face, her head area, and that was knife and blunt injuries together. Don't know what the blunt injuries were caused from. Facial compression, like an impact because of the pattern bruises. The scrapes and the bruising are emphasized, like somebody scratched her. Do we see any DNA testing around her face for maybe trace DNA? No. Why don't we get to see this? Why don't we get to see all the forensic results, not just what the parts they want to show us? Were they even testing these things? Because they sure allegedly cremated these 4 individuals very fast. Very, very fast. Let's look at the next one that I prepared. So in order of, here we go again with this, where's victim number 1? Have no idea, but they listed Kaylee as 2 and Madison as 3. And when you look at Maddie's injuries, you have to wonder, did the same person do this to Maddie that did this to Kaylee? Probably not, in my humble opinion. Probably not. And what does a Kershaw even look like? Has anybody ever seen a Kershaw knife? Drop a 1 if you've seen it. I'm gonna pop a picture up here on the screen. And remember of the knives that we just looked at. These are Kershaw knives. This is the knife they took into evidence. And these knives can cause a lot of damage. They're not that strong. They're not that long. They're about 4 to maybe 3.5 to 4 inches long. And that could cause some serious damage, just like the guys that we watched explain these little knives. Remember these guys? You can go back and you can watch their channel. They'll talk about movie sets and knives and all that good stuff. But for the stream, I want to focus on this little tiny Kershaw knife, because this Kershaw knife was taken into custody, but we've never heard anything about the Kershaw knife. And why is no one talking about these knives that MPD took into custody? Where did they find this Kershaw knife? I know it wasn't just in the kitchen. It couldn't have been. Where was this Kershaw knife? And when you start looking at Kershaw knives and then you start looking at the damage that was done to Madison, perhaps I'm speculating that this was a smaller knife and not a huge giant K-bar fixed blade knife. Because when you look at Maddie's injuries, here's the deal. Maddie's injuries basically show there was some incised wounds by a sharp object. Clean, smooth edges, longer on the surface than it is deep. They never told us how deep. There's a clue. You're seeing a pattern now. Minimal tissue tearing, little bruising at the edges. That is an incised wound. It's caused by a knife, a razor, glass, or sharp metal. Obviously, we know it had to have been a knife. And why does this matter? Look at Maddie's injuries. Most of them was all knife and not like Kaylee's. It doesn't look as bad as Kaylee had. Kaylee had no defensive wounds, guys. I don't know why everybody kept saying that Kaylee fought hard. She didn't have any defensive wounds. Not like Ethan had a few and Xana had a ton. Totally different scenarios here. And see, a Kershaw knife is about 3.5 to 4 inches long. And with force, it could cause a lot of damage. A lot of damage. So, I mean, a small knife, 2 to 3 inches, can cause some serious harm. It has limited reach. 3 to 4 blade inch can cause, damage to the lungs, like most of them had. And a longer fixed blade can go deep into organs. Okay? I think Kaylee was knocked out and carried back to Maddie's room. Maybe. Let's take a look at Ethan's. Xana, sorry. Xana is 4. Ethan's 5. So when you look at Xana's, do you see anything different in hers? She's got stabs in the abdomen, not just all in the face or neck or the chest. She's got them in the back of her. She's got them in her upper extremities, the lower extremities, punctures of the outer skull. I mean, those wounds are not gunshot wounds. It's not listed anywhere. There was no blunt force skull fracture for Xana. There was no strangulation language. There was no ligature marks. It's consistently a pattern with sharp force trauma. But you don't see a lot of blood yet again, which makes me believe, honestly, this may have not been some large 7-inch K-bar. And yes, her toxicology, she had alcohol in her, she had some amphetamines. It would just mean that she's more alert and an increased heart rate. Not much. Not much at all. Other findings, not a lot of difference. But let's look at Ethan. And when you break down Ethan's, you're going to see something here that doesn't make sense at all. Ethan, 4 in the face, the neck. Obviously, the neck was the main one that was hit. And very small incised wounds, upper extremities. Maybe he had, obviously, some defense because of the upper extremities where he was cut. Nothing massive. Nothing major like Kaylee and Xana. And when you're looking at this, a person who's had several knife injuries on their head and their neck and their face, that's what it basically explains to the majority of them, except for Maddie, obviously. There wasn't many. And obviously with Ethan, there was some major blood vessels, the lungs and the major arteries and the heart. That sounds to me more like a hunter. That sounds to me like somebody, not a trained assassin, a trained ninja, a hit. It sounds more like a hunter, somebody in the medical professional field that would know exactly where to injure someone quickly, in my humble opinion. Somebody who studied anatomy and physiology, and we've talked about this before. See, the jugular vein is the large vein in the neck. Subclavian is right under the collarbone. Subclavian artery is right under the collarbone too. So that means that there was rapid blood loss, which you see Ethan and the amount of blood loss seeped into the house and the back patio. Right? That's rapid blood loss. Everyone else was different. And that's what made me think that maybe Ethan's knife they used on Ethan is different. He had a lot of rapid blood loss. And they say they were all attacked at the same time. So there had to have been more than one perpetrator. See, because that massive, fast blood loss, it looks like he never got up out of the bed. And I showed you my little picture the other day that I was going to use for this stream. Let me grab it. All of their blood was contained to the bedroom. Xana and Ethan's was all in the bedroom, except for this one little tiny, oh, that's not my, shoot, hold on a minute. One little tiny transfer stain. Let me see if I updated it. Hold on. One little tiny transfer stain of Ethan. The rest they never tested. Let me grab it for you. They never tested the rest of the, here it is. Let me make this larger and let me grab a picture for you. So all of their blood was inside the room. But there's a lot of things that were never tested. Were they more likely unalived in their room? When I say their room, Ethan and Xana lived, I swear Ethan had to have lived there. All his stuff was there. All his belongings, both of his vehicles, everything was there. The only thing of Ethan's was a transfer stain on the ledge of the stairs going down to the first floor. That is the only one that was Ethan's, other than all in the corner of the room. So when you think about this, Xana, there was never a struggle. Obviously, I showed you the doors. There were no key code locks on the doors. It was a plain, simple door that anybody could have walked in there and had access to, especially at the time frame. Xana was all in her room. The only one that was Maddie going down the stairs could have been from the person leaving the bedroom. How did they even get in the bedroom? Were they waiting for them to come home? Were they sitting and waiting? Is that why the text went back and forth? Hey, are you almost there? Did you drop them off? Are they coming home? What would make you think that maybe somebody was laying and waiting? Their killer was waiting in the same house. That kind of reminds me of the movie that I kind of just showed you. When you see something like that, and you see that whole horror movie, and I know most of you don't watch it, but when you see that, he was right inside the house. Right inside of the house, chased him around, brought him back to wherever they wanted. What a way to spend Friday the 13th. I mean, I could have talked about Jason, but Scream just seemed more appropriate for the IDAHO4. Were they inside with their masks on, laying in wait for them to be home? And then it hit me. In these pictures, how do we know that someone wasn't waiting inside Xana's room, in the closet, or the bathrooms? How do we know it wasn't someone who let them in already? I mean, if you think about it, was somebody there waiting for them to arrive back from the frat, from the club? Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? It makes you wonder if somebody was waiting for them on the balcony or in the closet. And remember, Steve G always said, you run from the boogeyman and you hide. You hide. Kind of like a movie. I think there was a movie a long time ago. What is the name of that movie with the boogeyman? I can't remember that. Or was that the Candyman or something? Remember, I used to watch these movies when I was younger. I don't watch them anymore. But that is always, crossed my mind when I heard of this story. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think somebody let these people in? Because remember, I showed you a video the other day of Olivia, and she said, these girls did it all right. These girls did it right. They went out. They were safe. They locked themselves. The doors were locked. They were locked inside. They were locked inside. They were locked inside. And they didn't have to go up the stairs. They didn't have to go up the stairs. Why is nobody talking about these other knives that they took into evidence? Why do you think they're not talking about these knives? There's a video I saw the other day. Made me think twice about this whole scenario. I mean, we see the G family cry for help, then they turn around and sue WSU, and I think it's just a tactic for WSU to come back and say, no, Koberger's not guilty, and we're not accountable, because if there's another killer in this whole scenario, they did it, they might be dead or they might be unalived or whatever, and we're not liable because that person is not working or never has worked for WSU in their lifetime. Is that even possible? The first attacker was already in the house, probably through Kaylee's room. Yeah, people speculated that from the beginning. My thoughts has something to do with the Epstein files. I don't know. It does look like somebody hid in the closets. They were terrified scream we heard initially. Well, you know what? I'm going to go through some more pictures of other people's closets and let's just see what we find. You think somebody could have hid here? Let me see. Let me remove that. You think somebody could have hid in that closet? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, they could have tried to hide in the closet. Is that even possible? Let me look at another room. Let's look at this room. Hold on. No, I don't think Dylan was hiding anywhere in the closet. Let's go to our closet pictures. Hold on. Let me see if I can find them real quick. I don't think they showed many pictures of Dylan's closet. Let me see if I can go through all these latent prints. No. I have to go through all these. Hold on. Yeah, they didn't show many pictures of her closet, but I don't think she was hiding in her closet. Let's take a peek. Under the desk? I don't know. That closet was so tiny. No, I don't think so. There's hardly anywhere in there to hide in that closet. Except for that little space, but I mean, Dylan's pretty tall. So I don't think maybe somebody was hiding in there. Maddie's closet is so small too, guys. Look at that tiny little space. I don't think anybody would be hiding in there. And then Kaylee's, the spare bedroom, you know, the closet doors were broken off. Maybe someone was trying to hide in there. Is that even a possibility? I don't know. That's a wild speculation, though. And then Kaylee didn't have a closet per se. There was a desk and her little rolly cart in what was probably the closet to make more space. She didn't really have, I mean, there's this little cubby hole over here. Somebody could have been hiding in there. Absolutely, probably, maybe. I mean, it is speculation, but it is possible, right? I mean, somebody could have been hiding up in the room. And that's how they got in. They were already in the house. And then opened all the doors. Yeah, not the girls hiding in the closet, the killers. Absolutely. I mean, and one thing I want to point out is that if you are in a scary situation, you know, I just throw this PSA out there. Ladies, have some protection. Whether it is a fixed blade knife, whether it is a taser, whether it is whatever is approved in your state, bear spray, whatever spray, you know, personal protection, whatever it is that you have to protect yourself, you have that right. Just make sure you know what it is in your state that you can use for personal protection. Because this is just another part of the story that no one talks about. No one is actually talking about this knife. There is nothing in the forensic documents that even indicate they took this knife. Any of these knives were tested for DNA, but we hear everything about this goddamn knife sheath left and right everywhere, which was a big fat nothing burger. It's wild. The fixed blade K-bar knife that we were sold on. And then they couldn't find it, had no idea, can't find the individual who did this. When all these individuals right in front of their faces are standing there, I think they knew who did this. Whoever did this knows they did this. And they freaking got away with it. Because remember, every single stream, almost, I talk about the involvement of the Moscow Police Department and their internal investigation that was released to the general public. And all of these freaking people have been labeled either a witness, involved, mentioned, and Bethany was the complainant. And Bethany, if Bethany and her mother, or Emily Allant and her mother are watching, how did Bethany call 911 when, in fact, Nunez's body cam, she is not even around them? Did Bethany run off and leave her phone, and maybe Dylan was using her phone all night long? Is that a possibility? Is that a possibility? Now, today was released a interview with Koberger's classmate. I wanted to go ahead and listen to this real quick on the stream. If you guys haven't heard this, let's listen to it together. And of course, go and love Connor. Show Connor some love on the YT. He brought us this today.
All right. So obviously we wanted to touch base with you again on kind of some stuff that sounds like maybe you remembered or forgot to tell the initial investigator that spoke to you. I'm kind of also interested.
And this is by chance a second interview. They had questioned him. This is a second one. I don't know why that wasn't put up there, but hopefully we'll get the original.
In, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of restating to us your relationship with Brian and when it started and all that stuff. So wherever you feel like starting.
I'm his classmate, and we sorry. My first meeting was last year. Okay, sorry. Let me open the time. Last August was the last, and we serve as same teaching assistant with. And we share an office in it's 12, yeah. Wilson short for 12, yeah.
Okay.
We share them for one semester, and you can ask what you want to understand, because I don't know, I'm sure what kind of information you want.
Yeah, so I guess what was your relationship like with Brian, and that, in particularly before the homicides in Moscow?
Okay, he always say we are friends, and I probably one of most close person with him, because we have a same job, and we share an office. We usually discussion our class work together. I asked him something because I thought he was a very smart person. He understands our coursework very well, and I'm an international student, so sometimes I'm not sure the information is correct or not. But if eventually I noticed him. He usually mislead me a lot of information, such as where he is, or sorry, where he was, or where what kind of assignment requirement. He always mislead and make me confused. Again, we share same TA job together. So I also noticed he push a lot of his work to me. I noticed he's a very selfish person. But I understand last thing was he have been arrested. But before he arrest, we usually have a phone talk, especially around October to November.
Okay.
He excused his homicide, and after he excused his homicide, he usually call me and every time we just chatting, and I don't know why he usually call me, and every time perhaps have more than 1 hour talking. Yeah, I don't know why, but sometimes I hear voice was very anxious. He probably wants someone to speak with him and reduce his anxieties or pressure, something like that. Another information is he once been my dormitory before. I live on campus. He once been my dormitory, but that time he was very close to the almost homicide, or after homicide. I'm not sure because it was 1 year ago. And yeah, I around that time I feel him. He was extremely anxious. I just noticed his voice always speak very fast and cannot very well structured. He just want to express.
Now, I know it's very hard to understand him. I lived in Japan for 5 years, so and I speak Japanese, not as well as I used to, but I will say that it's very hard to understand his dialect. So I did put the closed captions on, and I think you're right. It's probably the most honest interview.
Anything, but a lot of information was complicated. I cannot understand because, again, I was international student.
Was that out of the ordinary for him?
Sorry?
Was him speaking quickly like that? Was that out of the ordinary or not normal?
Yeah, I think it's what I feel. Just feel some person feel anxiety and just want to release his pressure, something like that. And another important information was is he, again, we share some tier job together, and he was reported by some student because he is unfair grading, and he tried to inappropriate content to female students. He tried to use his grading, his authority, his power to touch girl, something like that. Because I remember he told me he wants a girl, he wants a girlfriend. Yeah. So so he got reported from our students, and our professor also noticed this problem. So they have it, and told me he didn't like Brian because Brian he thought he's a very arrogant student and not hardworking, something like that. And he tried to report his behavior to our office, and our office already noticed this problem. And the last time Brian and what Brian know this information, and they call me. Brian called me if he got some his job has been cancelled, or if his tier job has been cancelled, or his admission has been influenced. He want to fight. He want to fight with this system. He want to fight with our. I don't know why it's fight. It's a kind of.
And
again,
we do have a translator on the phone. If there's anything you want.
I have a caption. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. again, my English.
You're fine. If you need it, just so you know, there's a translator on the phone. If there's anything you can't think of, he can help out too.
Okay, yeah. So before now you all understand why I'm talking, because I'm just worried. My English. Okay, let me continue. So he told me he want to fight with the sales we want against, and he encouraged me to fight with him together. But I refused, and he told me he want to report to our department's dean office, something like that. But everything was around, I think around December, November, before he had got arrested. So the biggest problem. So I know he's eventually I know he was a selfish person. He want to use his power to catch the girls, female students, attraction, something like that. And he's not an honest person. Because, well, I mean, because the last talking with my last talking with him was I before he got, I think it was around before the Christmas, last year Christmas, and packing. But the truth was he or his father been there. They drove together to Pennsylvania. So he want to mislead us where he was. Yeah. But less information was I know was he has been arrested, because yeah, he during the phone call he told me he's ready to he would take plane flight from Pullman to Pennsylvania, but the truth is incorrect.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Another thing is once was talking with them. So if you finish, you probably have a short discussion with him if you want. And he would have a very serious argument with John, because John already know some student report him, and he still Brian doesn't didn't communicate very polite with John. So they have an argument, but I'm not sure the detail. But let me think. Here's something. I think there's one more thing very important, but I need to read it. I need to recall it. Okay. I think it's around the end of October to November, but I'm not sure the correct date. But I usually notice his face has a scar. You know what is scar? Yeah, scar. Wounded scar. His look not he look not like by essential. He like humans scratch. Something.
It did look like that, or it did not look like that.
Looked like
it
that.
Looked like a human scratch.
Yeah, looked like human scratch. And I also noticed his knuckles. Sorry, knuckles usually has had scar. At least two times, different week. So he probably did like he fought with some people, but I'm not sure. As I asked him, he just said he got a car accident. Yeah, but it's 2 week, different week. For example, this week and the next week, I saw the new scar. Okay. So it was very, very, very strange. And around that time, he usually went to our class very late, probably more than 20 minutes, several times. Yeah, there's. Sorry, I'm not sure I'm not pretty sure the date.
Oh, that's okay.
But it probably around October to November, the end of October.
Do you remember if the knuckle scars or the face scar, like which one was first or second?
I think both.
Okay, they were at the same time.
Same time. Okay. Yeah. And the same time he had, yeah, they. Yeah.
Where on his face was it? Was it like across his nose, on his cheek, across his nose?
and yeah, knuckles. I'm not sure that which hand. Probably both, but yeah, he's a very very specific.
Do you remember, was it like an up and down scar or a sideways?
Ah, this is a good question.
It's a long time ago.
Critical question. Oh, let me think. I'm not sure, but it probably hard horizon.
Horizontal. Yep.
Uh,
So he said that was from a car accident. That he told you.
he said car accident. I just asked him like a friend to concern his, but he didn't want to talk. No, he didn't want to talk too much.
Yeah. Was there any topics that he liked to talk to you about specifically after the homicides happened?
Yes.
What were those?
He liked to talk humans psychological part. He liked to talk his research. He likes to talk criminal decision making, something like that. And he said he like to guess why criminal want to do the behavior, something like that. And he told me about his research interest is invade burglary, home burglary, right? Yeah. I'm not sure that the sentence. Yeah, burglary. He said he want to understand this type of behavior, why to invade some people's house, like that. Yeah, the most. Yeah, we usually talk about. He usually said the first thing is his research interest. He want to understand why criminal behavior, what kind of criminal behavior, and he want to make a girlfriend. And the last thing is he want to fight with the system because he got reported. And I guess he already he probably gained some alert from our campus, but so he wanted to do some reaction about that. So yeah, that's one thing.
When you said he wanted a girlfriend, what did he tell you, or did he tell you the reason why he couldn't find a girlfriend, or did he express frustrations in finding a girlfriend? Or
I asked him if he has a girlfriend before. He said, I'm not sure he's correct, but he said yes, but like he broke up with his girlfriend. I'm not sure, but I didn't ask his detail. But yeah, he just say he wants a girlfriend here. Yeah.
Okay. Did he ever express any interest in a particular girl, or?
No, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay.
He just said.
Gotcha.
But it's just my guess because after the homicide and several reports and several document reveal, I have a discuss with my friend. But I have a friend who also who was his TA student, and because he hear several girls talking, Brian has several inappropriate communication and something like scanning they feel insulted by Brian. So we guess the homicide probably have a relationship with he wants a girlfriend, and probably some girl refused him and he want to revenge because because I know Brian is a person who very afraid of some people to refuse. He want to express his he is a smart person. He's a excellent person. He is super than other people. So he probably cannot afford someone refuse him. He got failed for something.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's our guest, but yeah.
And you said so he lost his job as a TA?
No, he probably potentially, but he noticed.
But he found out about the reports about him.
I guess probably some our campus because it was around December. It's already end of or the end of the semester, the fall semester. So he probably already got some notification mail or phone call from our graduate office, something like that. I'm not sure. It's just my guess.
You think he probably did?
Yeah. So that's the reason why he called me. He said, I hope you can like you can become you could become my evidence to support my innocence, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any conversations with Brian that you can remember, like right after the homicides happened? That was like November 13th. Once everybody had been notified, by the alert on campus. Did he ever bring it up, or did you ever bring it up with him? And did you guys talk about it?
he because we share same office, so sometimes we work. I work in office, and he was there, and he said he will give me a ride, and doing on his car. He probably go before went back to my dormitory. He said he want to buy a coffee and drove to Starbucks, bought a coffee and drove back to my dormitory, because my dormitory is a little bit far from probably 10 minutes or 15 minutes driving distance. And after arriving, we still walk a short distance to my room. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of that we should know?
If you're not young, we have the office was 3 people, and one was me, and one another was a girl. But I'm not sure she will afford investigation on that. But
we've spoken to her, yeah.
So yeah, she probably also told you something, but yeah, she's a very important people, because she also got some problems with violence, and yeah, probably if he won't work with you. He's upstairs, but I'm not sure he have enough time. Yeah, because she probably also know some information, because he probably also got some. He have several report. Okay. Yeah, that's why. Anything else if you want. So if I want to organize my thought. Not sure. Probably his personal mental problem. Probably, but I think one of the girlfriend is a very, very strong evidence. With that.
Okay. Well, thanks. You have my email, so if you think of anything else, just reach out to me, and I can always come back over here and talk to you. Rob do the same, so we're always around. So if you think of anything else, please reach out. But we appreciate you setting aside time. I'm sure you're plenty busy.
Yeah.
How much longer do you have?
I hope he will help.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if he got the job or not. We don't even know. We have no idea. But obviously there was some type of guy competition between him and BK, it looks like. And, it's really crazy in regards to this guy. Probably was, I don't know. Shoot, what is your take on this interview? What is your speculation on this interview? It sounds like some competition was at play. Seemed motivated for his future and loved nature, and he was weird and snarky, maybe a jerk sometimes, who isn't on a bad day, right? But some deemed depressed, suicidal, or hate towards. Yeah, you know what? And I think that this guy, obviously, he kept talking about BK wanted a girlfriend, a girl. Hold on, dude. He may have wanted a girl, but he didn't want a married girl, and that married girl sure retaliated, right? I mean, I read all those documents to you. There was no wrongdoing by WSU. Professor changed his posture after the FBI and somebody else in, I believe, Homeland Security went to go interview him. His whole story changed. So, wow. Yeah, it felt like he was trying to throw BK right under the bus and then back over him and run him over again. That's what it sounded like to me. Crazy. Okay, one last thing on the stream, and this is going to be massive. Get ready, guys. Y'all remember this interview. Now that we know what we know up to date, let's listen to this. I'm going to put the captions on, and let's see if we can catch some really odd things that they are saying here.
Good evening, America, and welcome to this special edition of Cross Country in Moscow, Idaho. Tonight, we are in front of the Moscow Police Department, and you may be asking why. Well, the reason is very simple. This is a very important area. It's 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 been about 3 weeks since the horrific stabbing death of 4 college students at the University of Idaho. 3 weeks since we lost Zayna, Maddie, Kaylee, and Ethan. 3 weeks, and still the police have no suspect or person of interest. The community has been left in limbo, left with more confusion and more questions. We are on the hunt for answers for them. Moscow deserves answers. The students of the university deserve answers. These 4 young innocent victims deserve answers, and so do their families. So let's start there. Joining me now on set, the parents of Kaylee Gonzalez, Christy and Steve Gonzalez. Thank y'all so much for being with me. You guys have been so transparent and strong for the public. Christy, you called the person that did this the boogeyman.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
You're a little, you think of the boogeyman. That's just how I feel. Like, that's just the horrific details of everything. To them,
Your best friend crawling into bed.
just crawling in bed.
Every
and
girl
the
in
boogeyman
America
comes.
knows what that's
The
like.
boogeyman doesn't, meet you at McDonald's. I mean,
Did you all just hear what she said?
Knows what that's
the
like.
boogeyman doesn't, meet you at McDonald's. I mean,
The boogeyman doesn't meet you at McDonald's. Where have we seen anything of McDonald's in this crime scene or in someone's car or something that was left behind on the stairs? Do they know something we don't know?
the boogeyman comes and snatches you out of your bedroom.
The boogeyman comes and snatches you out of your bedroom. I just showed you the closets.
Steve, we've been talking. I've been talking to folks in the community. You said something that stuck with me. You said, until this person is caught, you can't sleep in your bed.
No, I can't just lay in my bed and do nothing. That's not the way I raised my family. That's not the way I raised my girls and my son. You don't be a victim. You stand up for yourself and you do everything in your power to make sure people hear you. And they're gonna hear Kaylee. They're gonna hear Maddie. They're gonna hear these.
The other two as well.
Yes,
All of them.
I'm careful saying anything about them because I need to be careful because I can't speak on somebody else's child. But these 2 girls, I'm not trying to be a glory hound, but these 2 girls, I'm going to do what I can do, and we're not being victims. We're going to fight. We're going to figure out how to make sure that we hold everybody, accountable, and we keep eyes and attention on this and get this thing resolved.
Steve, you have made it very clear to our audience that you are supportive of law enforcement. You support the investigation. But recently, I've been watching and talking with you, and you're getting frustrated. What does that frustration come from, sir?
They put certain people between you and the officers that are making things happen, and those people are like lawyers, and they don't want to say anything, and they don't have the guts to come up and be alpha. And
They don't have the guts to come up and be alpha. Idaho murder victim sororities on probation for health and safety violations. November 30th. 2 sororities, which 3 of the slain University of Idaho students belonged, are on disciplinary probation. Alpha Phi and Phi Beta Phi. Don't make me be an alpha. Don't make me be an alpha.
be like leaders and say, hey, we might say something that's wrong. We're going to take that hit. So the officers, they look me straight in their eyes. The lead detective looked me in his eyes. I have no doubt he's working as hard as he can. But somebody isn't communicating. There's nothing being released. It seems like they're trying to suppress the story. We want to put rewards out. They're like, don't do that. Yeah, I get it. Your town doesn't want to have reward posters posted all over when you come and you do your rush. You're not going to get a lot of students if they see those things. But this community is not going to heal until this guy's pulled off the streets. It ain't going to happen. Think it through. It's not going to happen. He has to be off the streets. We all are working for the same thing.
When was the last time y'all heard from the police?
Thursday,
we looked at our phone records. We want to be accurate. We don't want to sell anyone out.
about 3 o'clock on Thursday.
Was he talking about the Patsy? Throw in the Patsy, hurry up. Is that what he was talking about?
All are working for the same thing.
When was the last time y'all heard from the police?
Thursday,
we looked at our phone records. We want to be accurate. We don't want to sell anyone out.
about 3 o'clock on Thursday.
And did y'all get an update from the police about the investigation?
There was no updates for you.
There was no update. They
Via
needed me to
text.
sign a waiver form so that they could investigate something
Some mail.
that was mail related.
That somebody mailed a necklace of Kaylee's to them? Is that what they were talking about? Or they were talking about what was mailed to the sorority, the Jack cards?
We're working with them. We're not selling them out. We love our law support.
The FBI, everybody that's here. We just have no information as family, and it's tough day after hear something, and you see these, oh, there's a break in the case, and it'll just be something stupid.
The sixth
you know?
person on the lease that was never there. Stop playing games. This is serious. These are people's lives. And
The sixth person that was on the lease that wasn't there, was that victim number 1? Who was that?
this is the future of this community. There's going to be 10,000, 15,000 kids that come into this community next year, or they don't. So be serious.
I had the opportunity to speak to some of my sources, and I've been told that there were differences in the way that the victims were killed. Some were more severe than the other. And this week we heard the target attack walk back and then reverse it back to it being a target attack. What can you tell us about the targeted attack?
They have told us that it was targeted, but they told us they can't tell who. We asked specifically, and they said, we'll try to get that information to you. And they got back to us a day or so later, and they said, we're sorry, we can't give you that information. But then a day later, we saw in the news that it was not targeted, or they think the whole house was targeted. But
I'll cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Their means of death don't match.
Maddie's
They don't.
and Kaylee's cause of death, it does not match based on the autopsy report.
And didn't I just go over those with you? Isn't that what I said? They don't match.
They don't match. Playing games, guys. I need somebody to step up and be an alpha. Be somebody to be a leader. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. He doesn't have to go up the steps. Their points of damage don't match. I'm just gonna say it. It wasn't leaked to me. I earned that. I paid for that funeral. I paid for that. It's my right. You ain't taking that from me.
calm down.
If you don't want to say nothing, that's your bet. But don't say I'm leaking anything. I paid that bill. Sent my daughter to college to get an education. She came back in the box, and I can speak on that.
I was also told from sources that are closer to an investigation, because there was a lot of roommates in there. And this was horrific for those roommates that were there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
The preservation
Did you all
of
see
this
his
crime
reaction
scene.
when the guy asked about the roommates? Watch. I'm going to play it a little slower. Watch Steve's reaction.
That were there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
The preservation of this crime scene. Witnesses tell me that it may have well been preserved because the phone was passed around between one of the fraternity members and the girls. One of them unfortunately witnessed the death, the body there.
Did you guys just hear this? The phone was passed around, and one of them witnessed, you guys heard it, You heard it, right? Listen.
One of them unfortunately witnessed the death, the body there. Can you confirm that?
We cannot actually. We know nothing about that whole phone call. We've asked, and it's, I mean, I know that a lot of people want to know, but that's just not our agenda. We just are like, somebody called 911, somebody was reported unconscious. We don't really know. I mean, we've heard so many different things and nothing has been clarified or been told to us at all. And I mean, I don't know if I personally have asked anything about that. I don't know if you have asked that, but we know that this is getting 3 weeks in and it's starting to get, we don't want it to go cold. We're reaching out. I reached out to friends down in California today that have connections that we're hoping to raise some money to get a reward, to get a private investigator.
Third party.
Why go the private route? Do y'all worry that at the end of this week that this case may be
100%.
cold?
We're scared.
When you tell me you don't want a photo up there with the reward offering information, that kind of sounds like you're trying to like suppress the story. I mean, why do you not need help? But hey, I could be wrong. And you officers, I apologize if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I want
absolutely.
to, please forgive me. Please forgive me. But if you don't have the information, people do know. If they don't, then, you know, the community, this is a community that is IT based. These guys live a digital footprint like we've never. All of us older people, we don't know how much that digital footprint could be helpful. So that's what we asked for. I hope like a DNA, a family lineage, if they could come out here and just start taking, this town is not that big. We could figure out this, and it might not be him. It might be a family member. We have family all going to the school together. You know, there's cousins, there's aunts, there's uncles. We could find this guy just with volunteers.
Lineage companies were,
Put Idaho on the map.
Christy, Steve, we're going to stay on this case.
Thank you.
We're not going anywhere.
Thank you.
You guys have been candid with us. We'll keep asking questions. Any resource that we have available, our audience is praying for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. I know it was big for you guys to come. I know it took a lot of courage to do it, and I'm hoping we can get some answers for you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Wow, today we still don't have any answers. Whose Kershaw knife was that? Who was the person that he was referring to that saw this happen? Who was that? Was it a small knife and not a big knife that we were sold on? Was it one of these knives that they don't talk about? And who is the alpha that's going to bring this to justice? We know it's not the sorority. We know. Y'all, thanks for being here today. I'm Phoenix, your host. Fabulous stream. Spread the message. Hype a video. Share the love for the mods. Y'all, we come here and we do this based on information we find in court documents, videos, etc. And I'll tell you, we are long overdue in some promised court documents from the Idaho State Court under Judge Hippler, and we are still waiting for documents to be released. It's time that we get some answers. What do you think? Drop your comments, give us some love. Until we see you next time. I will not be on Saturday or Sunday. I will return on Monday. Y'all, love on your loved ones. Happy Valentine's Day. Get some rest. Take a break from this case. Ground yourself. Love, hug, whatever you do with your family. Enjoy them. Be well.
February air, a winter's hush. A different kind of love, a sacred rush. And for the roses is all the fleeting glance. before the scales and a fighting chance. We're the phoenix nesters watching from the wire, seeing shadows fall, fueling the fire. Every story buried, every silent tear. Here comes a promise whispered, conquering the fear. Oh, Lady Justice, can you feel the shift arise? A love for the truth deflected in our eyes. We're turning the pages, breaking all the locks. This is our true crime, resetting all the clocks. They sold you a story, a neatly packaged lie, but the threads are unraveling under a watchful sky. From the cold case files to the digital trace, we're finding a heartbeat in this forgotten space. Oh, Lady Taro space, can you feel the shift arise? A love for the truth reflected in our eyes. Returning the pages, breaking all the locks. This is a true crime, resetting all the clocks. From the ashes of silence, a new day is born. For every lost soul, a promise is sworn. The blindfold is lifted, steady and slow. A garden of justice is starting to grow. Shift to arise, pure justice. But Lady Justice.